Going to show you how to move from one activity to another activity in Android. To move from one activity to another activity in Android, we use a class called intent. So I'll give you a simple demo on how to use the intent class to move from one activity to another activity. So let me create a project first. Let me name it as intent demo. So choose your workspace. If you have any doubts in how to create a project, I have given a link in my description for my first tutorial. You can see that for the clear idea of how to create a project. Let me name this as first activity. So let's wait for the project to create. So we have our project created now. This is our user interface part and this is our coding part. Here we have some problem called rendering problem. This is very common. Just change the app theme to HoloLight and click OK. Delete this hello world. To move from one activity to another activity, we must have two activities. Now I have a default one created now. To create a new activity, just right click on this app, new activity and an empty activity. Just give the names second and click finish. You have the second activity created too and the same rendering problem. Just click app theme, select HoloLight and click OK. So I'm going to have a button right in the center, and when I click this button, the app will move from the activity first to activity second. So to identify this as activity second, let me have a text view here, and this will read as I am the second activity. Double click here and change this as I am the second activity. The activity refers to screen in Android. So let me change the text as tap to go next. Also let me change the ID as btn move, because for a good programming practice you must have a relevant ID. So the activity first.xml is connected to first.java. So in this, declare a button first. So here it asks for an import because the button class will not be mapped default to this Java class. So click Alt plus enter and map the button in the first activity, that is btn move, to this Java class. So here this btn move refers to the button object in the Java class. We are going to map this with the button in the user interface. So find view by ID of, we have the ID in resources r.id.btn move. Okay, so when we tap the button, it will take us to the second activity. So we have to create a listener method so that it listens the tapping. btn move dot set on click listener. In this, pass the argument as new on click listener. So it will create the method defaultly on click. So inside this method we are going to write the code. So now we are going to use the intent class. Intent I equal to new intent. So as usual, in this we will pass two arguments. The first argument is the class where you are, and the second argument is the class where you want to go. Now you are in the first class, first dot this, and the class where you want to go is second dot class. So you have created the intent successfully. To move from one activity to another activity, you have to start that activity. So use the method start activity and pass the intent object in that method. We are done with that. So when we tap this go to next button, you will get the second activity. I am in the second activity. This activity you will get it. So let's compile, click run. So the project takes some time to compile. Please wait for that. I have my GNI Motion emulator ready. So choose the GNI Motion emulator. I am choosing that. Whatever emulator you are using, please choose that. You can also use BlueStacks to run the app. So wait for the program to compile. So now our app is shown in the emulator. So as I told you already, tap to go next. When you click this button, it will take you to the second activity. So this is how you use the intent class from moving from one activity to another activity. Using this intent class, you can also pass some values from one activity to another activity if you are going to use a value from this activity to any other activity you are using. For example, let me place a text view here. There is a text box. And the value which I am going to enter in this text box will appear in this text view. So let me show you how to do that. That is how to pass a value from this activity to another activity using Android class. So let me edit the IDs. EDT input. So the class Java associated with this is the first Java. Declare an edit text, as the text box in Android is called as edit text. EDT input. Here I am using the object name as same as the ID in the user interface for my reference. You can give whatever name you like, but just be relevant because that's a good programming practice. Now let me map it with the user interface one. EDT input equal to edit text, find view by ID, resource.id. The name given is EDT input. So we have finished mapping. So I have told you we have to take the input from this text box to the second activity. So in this intent, just get a string when the button is clicked. String input equal to EDT input dot get text dot toString. So using this we can store the input in this string object. So here it's very simple. Before starting the activity, just use the method put extra of a string name. First, whatever method you are using, it asks for a string name. This is sent as a key value pair. So I give the key as input and the value is the input string object which we have get an input from the user. So here start activity of I. In the second activity, I have a text view I'll give the ID as txt input. So when this activity gets loaded, this automatically changes to the input given by us. So for that, in the second.java, that is the Java class associated with the XML, declare a text view txt input. As usual, map this with the user interface one. So now we have to receive the intent from the first.java. So just give intent I equal to get intent. So here it needs to import the intent class, give al plus enter, and once you give that I dot get intent, you can get the intent. So now to get the value, declare a string input equal to I dot get string. So get string extra method used to get the value passed by intent from one activity to another activity. So as I have already told you, here we are passing the string input as a key value pair. So for the value passed in this object, you have the key as input. So in this, we are going to extract this using the key input. So we have passed the key. The value passed from this first.java to second.java will be stored in the string input. So now let us display it using the txt input dot set text, and I'll give errors. The value received is, and I will concatenate the input. So we have done with that. Now if we run the project now, choose the virtual device. So let us wait for the Gradle to build finishing. So now we have the screen ready. This is the first screen. Tap to go next. Here I'll give the input as Android. Now when I click this, the value received is Android. So we can also change values. Let us check for the second time. Testing. When you click the button, the value received is testing. So this way you can pass any number of values and you can pass any data using the methods get methods. We have more get methods here. I dot get boolean extra, get bundle extra, get byte extra. Like that you can pass whatever data you want in this. So if you have any doubts, please feel free to comment it here, and I also expect review about the video. Thank you for watching.